You're not going to believe this, but 10 years in the sick care system, after 10 years in the sick care system that almost killed him, my guest today, Cordoba, took his wellness into his own hands. And 12 years later, he still shares his story in his book called Beating the Odds, as well as working now as a holistic coach and working with cancer patients that are just fed up with the conventional treatments. I mean, this is so up my alley. He helps people transform to vitality in their lives. You don't want to miss it. Let's just get there. But first,
facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Well, good, beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of The Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating, especially you. You're not going to believe this, but 10 years in the sick care system, after 10 years in the sick care system that almost killed him, my guest today, Cordoba, took his wellness into his own hands. And 12 years later, he still shares his story in his book called Beating the Odds, as well as working now as a holistic coach and working with cancer patients that are just fed up with the conventional treatments. I mean, this is so up my alley. He helps people transform to vitality in their lives. You don't want to miss it. Let's just get there. But first, we're going to do a 22-second mini vacation, a little breathing exercise that's going to get us centered and settled. So here we're going to breathe in 7 seconds of calm. We're going to hold for 4 seconds and breathe out 11 seconds of gratitude. So if you'll join me here, breathe in some calm. Hold. Relax. Release. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that does it. We need to take that centering moment more often every day, don't you think? We're always stuck on our devices, and then we're not centered and grounded. So be still and know. Take that still, quiet voice in. And so that's why I do that breathing. Today, I am so grateful to have you with me as a holistic. You figured out that all those pharmaceutical things were not working for your stage 4 cancer, right? So you figured out that another way, a better way, and 12 years later, that's a pretty good run of cancer free after having stage 4, right? So, George, I am excited, and I'm going to see something that I saw on your website, and it says a global shift from a sick care mindset to a healthcare mindset has already begun. We're talking globally, and I am so incredibly grateful. This is so my subject. So tell us who you are in this world, and then we'll talk about what you do. What's going on in New Mexico, right?
Yes, I'm in right where I studied, and like I told you, I played NCAA Division I tennis. Yeah, I was born in South America. My parents migrated from Greece and Spain after World War II. I grew up there. And I was very good at tennis and piano, actually, music. And so I progressed in both areas. And I got good enough to come to the States with a full ride tennis scholarship, played NCAA Division I, and got married here in the States in 1986. We have 5 beautiful children. Now we have 4 grandkids. And everything was going very well for me and my wife and the kids. Were people of faith, so we did a lot of stuff with the kids, like helping the homeless in downtown Miami and things like that, going to places where kids were in shelters because of maybe physical or any type of abuse, or the parents were, criminals or drug addicts. And so they had this experience. They love to go and see that they could help, maybe hand some water to those folks living under the bridges and so forth. And I must say that on my Greek side of the family, many of my family members passed of cancer. And so if you remember the power of the mind, but you can attract your fears. And so from the age of 4 to 42, I saw my grandfather pass of cancer, then 2 of my grandmother's sisters pass of cancer, then my godfather, my mother's cousin, also migrated to Venezuela, his family, Greek, also passed of cancer, then an aunt, and then my dear uncle, both of them siblings of my mother's. And then at the age of 42, my dear mom passed of cancer. So when I looked at my family landscape, I felt I would be doomed. And I fear the disease. I grew up creating a belief that this thing was a killer. It came to my family, and whoever had it didn't make it. So it wasn't really a huge surprise that I was diagnosed 3 weeks after my mother passed of cancer. And my particular type of cancer is a very aggressive one, or was, malignant melanoma. And so you can imagine, I don't really wish cancer diagnosis to anyone, but when you hear that, everything stops, and then you go into this emotional roller coaster for a few days. And obviously, in my case, having 5 young kids, it added more anxiety to the whole experience. But I was in denial. No way, this is not right. I need another biopsy. Why me? It's all this stuff was going to happen to my wife, my kids, my career, and so forth. And then I asked myself, man, this is destiny. I always thought I was going to have it, and here I am, I have it. But at that moment, Charla, I said, no, I am going to beat the odds and be the very first person in my family that survives this monster. And I went on my journey. And after 10 years and 10 surgeries, I beat the odds and survived an advanced melanoma with metastases of 8 tumors in my brain, 2 of them not operable. And so, like everybody else, we were talking before we started, the mind goes to what is familiar. That's one of the 13 rules of the mind. So I did the same. What we learned is to go to an oncologist and hope that this person will help us. One thing that I did not, and I'm proud of, is I didn't give all my power to this person. Many people do. The doctor said, I cannot do this, I cannot, and then you become a patient and you really rely on the stuff that they're trying on you to work. No other, and that's really 90% of people. So that's what I did. And 8 years into my battle of surgery, treatment, remission, quote unquote, recurrence, surgery, treatment, remission. I was on year 8. And the melanoma went to my brain, and so I had my first craniotomy. It was an opening from ear to ear. I was starting to chatter. I was losing my mind, my vision. A lot of symptoms that were very scary. My kids were young. They grew up actually fearing that daddy would pass away like dear Grammy. And but after that surgery, I have to say that they said, well, Georges, we have a new form of chemo that penetrates the brain. So we're gonna give you that in capsules, and we're gonna give you, also we're gonna do 6 weeks of radiation in your head. And not knowing anything, I agreed, like everybody else. But when I was given these capsules, which by the way, each capsule was $1,000. This is in 2008. And I had to take one daily from Monday through Friday, take a break on the weekend, and then again another week, and then 3 weeks. On my second Monday, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. The reaction was terrible. I had this anxiety attack. I just thought, my goodness, the kids were in school, my wife was at work. And so I kind of managed, I tried to play the piano to bring myself down. It didn't work, so I just lay down and kept breathing. And at that moment, like I said, I'm a person of faith. I started praying about having the discernment to make this decision of really stopping this stuff. It was nonsense for me. We were broke. 8 years into that, insurance had already tapped out, and tapping into 401ks, IRAs, kids' college funds, and it wasn't pretty. But when my wife got home, I asked her to take me to church, to the chapel at church. And she says, "What's going on with you? You look weird. You're sweaty." And I explained. And on the way over, mind you, she worked and still works in a hospital. She's an ultrasound tech for obstetrics. And so her and I have doctors in the family. I knew that they were going to go against what I was thinking of doing, which was stopping the traditional stuff. And when I got to the chapel, I prayed, I cried for a while, which is said that crying is it's a good way to cleanse your soul. And so I'm there. She's behind me, sitting in a pew, and I'm by the altar. So there, Charla, I surrendered. I surrendered to the process. And I gave all the power to the divine. And I said, give me discernment. This is not working for me. I'm tired of this. And if I'm going to go a few more years of this stuff, this is not a life. So we finished, and in the car, I tell my wife, I said, look, I'm stopping all this stuff. I'm going to go natural. And she tried to talk me out of it. Then she called my daughter's godfather and godmother. They're both physicians, and he's a surgeon. And they tried to talk me out. And I said, look, I know myself. I know this stuff is going to work for me. This is not working for me. So I'm tired of this. And I went. I took the holistic health journey to heal myself, and you just said I'm closing on 13 years. This July will be 13 years free of cancer. Pharmaceuticals almost destroyed my body, and that's when I took my first leap of faith of going natural. Later on, I transitioned from my CTO, Chief Technology Officer position, I brought another CTO, and I kind of negotiated to work from home, helping this person transition. But in the meantime, I was already working on holistic stuff. And when I have to say, it is really, it's amazing. It's amazing how the universe, how God works. The moment that I decided and the moment that I surrendered, everything started happening. I started getting help from angels in the form of humans. I had people helping me that I had no idea they would step up. And guess what? That's healing. When you learn to receive what others are giving you from their heart, a divine channel opens where miracles happen. And I was just healing. I could feel the healing for people giving us. even monetary help, because we were broke with 5 kids. One starting, one was actually a junior in high school. The other ones were pretty small. But so along, I went in my holistic journey. I decided to become a holistic health coach. I basically got my diploma from the Health Coach Institute out of San Francisco and Chicago. They have 2 big offices. Then I did my mastery on holistic transformational health. Then I became a nutritionist, a Reiki teacher and practitioner, and 2 years ago, also a hypnotherapist. I worked with a lady, Marisa Pierce from London. She has an approach called rapid transformational therapy, which is, it brought such power to the healing process for my clients and for myself, because there were still some stuff that we carry even though you think you have already breakthroughs. Every here and there, something comes up. So I also, when we were doing resident stuff, let's say you will be my coach, and then the week after I will be your coach, and then we will hypnotize each other. But it just really added more value to what I do with my clients. So that's me. I'll be 13 years free of cancer. I must say that I took the holistic route literally. And people ask me, what is holistic health, Georges? Well, it's easy. It's a way to treat the entire person, body, mind, emotions, and spirit. And instead of the particular diagnosis or a disease, you treat the entire being. And the way I explain it is with the 4 legs of the table. I have this analogy. One of the legs is your physical self. The other leg is your emotional self. The other leg is your mental self, and then your spiritual self. If any of those legs in the table is missing, you can't eat on that table. The table can't stand. And what I find really is that in the beginning, people that are fed up with cancer, they're missing more than one leg of the table, particularly the spiritual one. Because we mix religion with it, which is, you could be religious and spiritual, but you could be religious and not spiritual. Spirituality is very unique. That connection to Mother Earth, you and I are connected soul-wise, and stuff like that. So my protocol, throughout my protocol, I work each leg of the table. And
So what you just said, I'm going to, because I've said it multiple times on my show, a whole lot of what you're saying is really resonant. You speak, I've been diagnosed with, you don't speak, I have. What you say after I am is who you are. So you don't claim things, right? So that's one way. Don't claim it. Do what you got to do, but don't claim it. And then the religion thing. So I was raised very fundamentally. I'm a person of faith, absolutely. And so many, I think, religions, I've seen the definition of religion being returned to bondage, because it's about man-made stuff, and it's not about relationship. And if we have, a relationship with God, is the divine in you. You get to everything. The I am is the word. Every word matters in this book I wrote. Everything is you speak who you want to be. And so a lot of what you're saying is so resonant with me, because that's what mine has been more instinctual over the years, right? So I haven't been to a doctor in 20 years. I don't believe in it's a mindset. It's mindset. I don't believe in getting sick, so I don't. And that's not arrogance, okay? If you're a person of faith, I want you to hear this. That's not arrogance, because Jesus said we could do what he did and even more, which is authority. We have the authority.
Absolutely.
And when you speak that with confidence, and all of these things that you've been through, and I like the term rapid whatever it is in the
transformational therapy. Yes.
Yeah, because if you can treat it rapidly, and I believe so. I have my book, Split Second Transformation: Change Your Words, Change Your Life. 31 daily practices.
Absolutely.
You can shift in a split second, and you did when you went to the chapel, and just like, I lay it at your feet. I don't have to do it by myself. Relax, release, let it go.
Yes.
And the angels can then be free
Yeah.
to show up.
Yeah, and it's absolutely, we're so connected. I mean, in terms of we're like-minded, I believe, and actually even hard-minded. You know, it is my best coach is this avatar, Jesus Christ. I mean, he taught us love and service, and he also when he healed, he wasn't healing. What happened is that the other person, if you check all the miracles in the New Testament, in every single miracle, Jesus says, "Hey, Charla, your faith has healed you. Hey, Georges, your faith has healed you." He never said, "Hey, I'm the Son of God," or "I'm an avatar." No. The thing there to actually, when you look at it, which I really spend a lot of time on the miracles because of something that I describe in the book. We don't have that much time to go through that, but when you give from your heart, and we don't know, as humans, our ego does, it is easier for us to give than to receive. But if you open your heart to receive and just let all that stuff or receiving, and really, when you open your heart for receiving and the giver is giving you from the heart, miracles happen. A divine channel opens in there, miracles happen. But one thing that is interesting, because people ask me, what is holistic health? I was telling you, but also when you say, George, is that you're a person of faith, what do you mean? And so my answer is, look, faith, the actual definition of faith is the certainty of what you want, because you know that there is something bigger than you that will help you as long as you take action. So in the New Testament, James tells us, do not deceive yourselves. Show me your faith with your action. And that's what I did to myself. I took action. I wasn't expecting the doctor, and this is after I was going through oncology and all this stuff, but I took action. I started to look at all the different holistic aspects. The internet was becoming very, very, very affluent, so a lot of information there, and I tapped into different things. And remember, he who seeks shall find. I found many things that really made sense to me. I did not really, I was really in grace in a way, because I gave all my power to the divine. And what happened at one point, one of my ex-employees, Julia, she gave me a book on emotional intelligence. And there was a chapter there about forgiveness. And Charla, because I humbled myself from the very, I was an open heart. If anybody wanted to take advantage of me, it would have been very easy to do that. But I was protected by something. And I found out that all disease, and this is something through the years, I've been coaching now at Holistic Coach for 8 years, and I told you I keep learning. I was doing a talk, I do public speaking in Toronto, Ontario, and there was a holistic MD doctor, or a holistic MD. And in the panel, we had people online and live. There was a question, and he says, I want to take this one. And I want the audience to understand this. If you're going to learn something from this conversation today, is one, all chronic disease, including cancer, no exceptions, they are all emotional. It starts in our emotional clutter. That's number one. Number two, all chronic disease start in acidic, inflamed bodies. And we do that to ourselves. Okay, we might be too stressed to eat, and when we eat in a hurry. And as a nutritionist, I can tell you that is a no-no. That's the beginning of how we get sick. The average American adult chews only 6 times before they swallow, when we need to chew at least 20 to 30 times, depending on what we put in our mouth, because digestion starts in our mouth. We need to chew the food so the saliva enzymes process the food and sends it down to the stomach. But if you don't do that, the stomach does not know. This is a beautiful design, our digestive tract. Actually, I specialize on that. The stomach does not know what to do and basically decides to send everything to fat, which in time becomes acidic, and it goes throughout your body, to your tissues. Not only that, because that happened, you're hungry again 30 minutes later because you didn't get all the nutrients that your body needs to nourish themselves, strengthen the immune system, etc. So you're hungry again, but guess what? You go again and you eat really fast in 10 minutes, and imagine doing this daily, and it comes to a point that you're so acidic, and the body sends you a bill saying, hey, you're sick. You have diabetes, you have heart disease, you have cancer, anything, any other chronic diseases. So those 2 things are key. I have some stuff that I'd like to give your audience, a giveaway with a few things that are very important there, how to balance your pH, how to take the acidity out of your body, and without going through a crazy diet or so forth. It's just a learning what foods are alkaline and what foods are acidic and combine them. And the moment that you have a balanced pH, you're destroying the environment, which is acidic environment where cancer cells strive to live, or any other disease. You are actually helping the process of healing by just doing that, eating slower and so forth. And there's so many other tips, but
Is the hidden tip the eating slower one? You said you had a hidden tip to prevent or get rid of disease, and I've been learning more about that myself in a new product that has just come in the United States that is totally shifting the balance of inflammatory omega-6 to anti-inflammatory omega-3s, because we're all out of balance.
The secret of health. And the first thing I did when I went natural, I went and visited by an angel that recommended this. My best buddy and doubles partner's wife said, hey, Georges, this guy, this naturopath, helped my sister rid of hepatitis. So why don't you go see him? And I went. I was open to receive anything that made sense. And he taught me that. He says, look, disease cannot grow in a body that is balanced, has a pH balance. So I wrote an ebook about that, and that's what I'm going to share with the audience. And that ebook has a table that tells you which foods are acidic and which foods are alkaline. What I do with my clients, I don't believe in extremes, vegan or keto. It's just a normal process of having good carbs, good proteins, and good fats, and knowing what to ask in a restaurant or at home that balance your plate. If you have a pH balanced plate and you drink plenty of water during the day, you will not even get sick, like you said. And in your case, it's also obviously a mindset.
If you squeeze some lemon in there, won't that help too?
Yes.
To me, it doesn't make sense that we think lemon is acidic, but it removes acidity in your body. Absolutely. If you add it to so drinking lemon water all day long and a teaspoon of baking soda. I mean, we got little hints and tips.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That are simple. And, diets, I'm not a big fan of that word. It's called die with a cross at the end, I'm like, so many of them are extreme and they're not happy, and I just had this conversation this week with a friend, and it's like, I also believe that if you do the shoulds and shouldn'ts, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm going to eat it anyway. What if you released, and go, I'm going to eat this chocolate cake and I'm going to savor even though everything says not to, but if you're focused on loving it and enjoying it and savoring it and expecting the beautiful, just instead of this, yeah, I know I shouldn't eat this, but I'm going to shove it in my mouth. There's a practice there.
Yeah. On the physical self of the table, we spent nearly, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks. We go through many ways, how to eat, how to chew enough, and how to relax. See what happens. Imagine you having a nice, healthy meal at a park, and then all of a sudden you see this bear, running towards you. And you have this feeling, man, is it coming to attacking me? You have two choices. You either fight the bear or fly out of there. So the moment that you decide to fly, your digestion freezes because the body now producing cortisol and serotonin and adrenaline, it's getting you ready to just get out of there, run for your life. But your digestion went to where. And so it is the same with our mind. It doesn't know if it's a bear. If it catches that you are stressed because you were in traffic or you had an argument with somebody or you're in a hurry because you have to do something back in the office after you eat.
Or your mom died 3 weeks ago?
What's that?
Or your mom died 3 weeks ago. I mean, they're stress.
Absolutely.
So was, when you said that, I was like,
yeah. And
that
emotional.
makes sense, right?
Emotional stuff. But in this case, then your sympathetic branch of your nervous system says, hey, Charla is stressed out. Digestion, it's not going to go well, even if you eat slower, because it catches out that you're stressed. So there are tips. Before you go to eat, take a couple of deep breaths. Nobody's going to notice. And relax so you could trick your sympathetic system. And now your parasympathetic system says, oh, Charla is relaxed. Let's have a good lunch, a good digestion. If you disrupt it right from the get-go, and on top of that you eat fast, you are producing so much acidity in your body. Now, let's go to emotions real quick. If you have clutter that you have been holding since you were 5 years old, and this is where hypnotism comes very handy, you need to release that. We need to reframe that, because that stuff, whenever you hear a song or you remember it because of a movie, you're producing cortisol, you're producing acidity in your body. And if you don't release that emotional clutter that you have there for years, or maybe not even so far, 5 years ago, whatever, but it's in there, that's producing cortisol. So I have to share this, it's in my book, but I looked for all those folks that hurt me when I was a youngster, that I felt they hurt me. And I was surprised because none of them remember hurting me. Obviously, they were youngsters too. But they say, hey, George, I don't remember, but I'm sorry, man. And here I am, decades later, holding all this venom inside of me. Then I decided, well, let me approach those that I know that I probably hurt in college, or maybe a girl or a cousin. And only one person remembered, but I was carrying that. So I released that as well. I felt like a grand piano was lifted off my shoulders. And then I did my toughest, Charla, forgiving myself. But when I managed all that, I had never had another recurrence. Incredible. I know people now. I spoke in Vegas, in Las Vegas in February. There was a lady that her divorce was really bad. So she got thyroid cancer. She started to get so many issues with her in her skin and stuff. And when she finished her talk, she says how that went away. She cleared all the emotional clutter with help, obviously. And so emotions, the emotional clutter needs to be cleaned up. Remember, we are a whole integral thing. Emotions, mind, body, and spirituality, our spirit.
I am 100%. I've witnessed, I mean, you said something, all the miracles. So in 2007, I was given the word from somebody that said, "You're a clearing for miracles." And I go, okay, I received that. I believe in them. I will lay the groundwork for miracles are everywhere. They're everywhere. And
They're
people
everywhere.
only, and if you don't believe in them, well, you're not seeing very many, are you? So your beliefs matter too,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yes.
you've touched on a lot of. I just find it fascinating. I like I said, it's just so up my alley to have these conversations with people that not only are healing others because they've been healed, right? So that's I tend to attract this kind of subject, right? So you reached out to me from Need a Guest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking, I meant to ask, double check on that, but I think you reached out and I read your story and I'm like, this sounds amazing to me, and I'm grateful for you to
Yeah.
have said, reached out and said yes. And so people can find you. We'll do a little bit here. We'll keep going, but the isyourhealth.com, isyourhealth.com
Yes.
is your main website, correct?
Right.
And they can find your free gifts there, maybe, or how do they find that? Because
No, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, after the show, I can send you some links that you can share in your site, or if you go to Is Your Health, you could get the ebook. On the main page, you can, just opt in and you'll get a copy of the ebook. But I want to give you a few other things. The ebook is very powerful. Just with that, you'll understand the importance of having a balanced pH, and then you can go to any pharma or Publix or in any store and get the strips, so you can kind of like manage to see how acidic or how alkaline you are. You don't want to be too alkaline either. If you don't pour enough chlorine in a pool, it becomes green. That is also dangerous. There's bacteria and stuff that is not good for us. If you put too much chlorine, it's too acidic, and that is obviously dangerous. But in our case, if we're going to be not in the balance, it's better to be a little more alkaline than more acidic.
And the name of that book, the title of that ebook is?
It's a balanced pH in your health.
Balanced pH in your health. Okay, that's huge. And then your bestseller book, which is Beating the Odds. What's the subtitle of that?
The subtitle is My Journey Through Holistic Health to Overcome Advanced Cancer. And it's in Amazon. They can look for it as Georges Cordoba, or by the title. There'll be a few others that says Beating the Odds, but for my genre, that's the one there. If anybody speaks Spanish, it's also in Spanish. It's called Venciendo las Probabilidades. It's there. They're both bestsellers. And I really encourage people to read it. It's not so long, but it really describes the whole process of my holistic healing, and also it really gives a lot of credit to the caregiver, because the caregiver goes through hell, really. I mean, it's in my case, my wife with 5 kids, and now it's 6 because I couldn't, I was in fetal position after every treatment. That was my thing. And and then people would say, "Oh, how's Georges? How's Georges?" And I would say, "Hey, why don't you ask her how is she doing?" I mean, she's going to probably...
Caregiver, I have a few friends that are very focused on the caregiver side of caring for the caregivers, because they definitely, and my friend has it, her husband died of younger onset Alzheimer's, and she wants to take care of the wives of those typically men that die, because it's horrific, and they can
get sick as well if they don't do something. I mean, they're in the middle of all this stuff. They're very prone to get ill, So
And then what happens? I mean, that it's like that everybody.
Is it okay to send you some links, or basically they can also reach out to me on the website. You can actually schedule a Clarity, complimentary Clarity call. And also my email is georges@isyourhealth.com. You can just write me an email if you want to talk for half hour and find out how you can actually even prevent the disease. Not only, I mean, I work with my avatars, people like you said that are fed up with conventional cancer treatments, but if, let's say, your husband comes and says, look, my wife, it's happened to me. She's going through cancer. Okay, we signed up with you, but can you coach me as well? Because I'm pretty scared. You know, he's the caregiver with 3 kids, and they found out she had cancer when she was delivering the third kid. It was ovarian stuff, and so I took him in terms of, hey, let's get you back to health. Let's change some of this lifestyle that gets people sick. You know, lack of sleep, drinking too much, eating until you cannot eat anymore. You need to balance. You need to have like a hunger scale, you know, and say, hey, when you're 7, stop. Nutrition-wise, you're fine. The rest is just ego, trying to finish up the plate before you leave the restaurant or home. That's not good. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll put the links in, and typically you'll get the Vimeo of this this afternoon. I usually try to get it edited, not edited a lot, but add the like bumpers and get it to you this afternoon. Then you get to do what you will with the show, so you get to choose, and you'll pull out snippets. But I'll in the description. I certainly will have those links.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because I actually share the links with you already.
I think in our shared document, yeah, I've got some links. So.
Yeah, I have there one. It's I'm actually giving in that giveaway link. You get the ebook, and the table is in the table that explains what foods are acidic and alkaline. You also get a how to sleep tips. Sleeping is very important. A couple of, it's a forgiveness meditation for men and for women. So there's plenty of stuff in that link, and it really would help the audience at least to check it out. And if anything, make sure you really get good on understanding the balanced pH and your health. And if you have questions, just reach out, schedule a half-hour call, and we can talk.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. So, it's Georges. Georges is your first name, and Cordoba, Cordoba. So we'll have
like the city, like the city in Argentina or Spain, Cordoba, because people put the V as in Victor at the end, and it's a B as in boy, and that's how you find me. You type that on Amazon, and you'll find my books. I'm actually finishing up one. Probably will be released. My second book is going to be launched at the end of May. It's the title is Stop and Smell the Roses. You mentioned it, Charla. We have miracles everywhere around us, but we are so distracted that we don't see them. You know, and it's really crazy. I'm actually doing a children's book for my obviously grandkids, and then obviously all kids. And one of the chapters is this kid that is wondering why we spend so much money investment to see if there's a rose or something in Mars, in another planet, when here we hurt ourselves. We actually step on a flower or whatever. And so, but imagine if they find one in Mars. I mean, the whole world, oh my God. And we don't appreciate or embrace that here. We have all that beauty here from Mother Earth. So it's great. So this little kid is asking, like The Little Prince. I don't know if you read that book. It's kind of like something like that, really for adults as well.
Well, there's usually more to those stories, right? So the moral and finding those messages in a small way, that's great. And my little 3-year-old grandbaby, oh my gosh, she's so much fun.
Yes.
But and then, you know, honestly, she's learning affirmations. I am happy, I'm
Nice.
strong, I'm helpful, I'm trustworthy. I'm teaching her I have integrity, and she's I
Beautiful.
have integrity. I'm teaching her mindset
Oh,
as
yeah.
well, that you get to start them that early and
Yes.
get to just witness the growth in there. So anyway,
Beautiful.
the kids are our future, and they're so much fun for sure. But
Yeah.
also, I are you interested? Or I mean, I feel like the environment in our country right this second is shifting towards a better. We talked about the global shift, right? That we're shifting towards, and so many, the vast majority of us, no matter how good we wish we would eat or would eat, we haven't had access to clean food. And I believe that is shifting as we speak. I believe there's
Yes.
now people in place that are going to stop the poisoning, so hopefully, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll take some time, but what a breath of fresh air, what we've been waiting for, right? To me,
Exactly.
that was somebody stepping up and going, you know what?
Yeah. And
Nobody's getting healthier since we have high fructose corn syrup and artificial
Oh, my
sweeteners.
goodness.
Nobody is skinnier because we have. We having, I have I was as a flight attendant. We had these little packets of stuff, and I made a poem: pink, yellow, and blue. Those little sweetener things are killing you. That's my poem. Pink, yellow, and blue. They're killing you. And so,
Yes.
and people just do not recognize
Yeah.
this chemical warfare we're living in our bodies.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's much harder because you almost can't find good, healthy, organic.
It is very good, a great point, and I have to share as well that in my book I also
The time to say, we did say you're
beating the odds, but
beating the odds. Okay.
I wanted to share that I also have a book on service to others, which is really, we're designed to help others. You may be making $300,000 a month and feeling that something's missing. If you're not, it's not about writing a check and a donation for any organization. It's you going to help somebody in person. I read a book, the title was Back to the Basics, and this guy says, if you want to feel the love of God, you need to descend to the heart of those whom you help, and you'll be fulfilled. You could be making $10 instead of 200,000 a month, and you'll be fulfilled. And that service is healing as well. Another thing that it costs nothing, for $15 a month, you feed between 1 and 3 youngsters here in the U.S. They're going hungry, and with $15, you plant 3 trees anywhere that you want in the world. Just $15, and just go to these organizations, and you feel good. You say, "Oh my goodness!" And they tell you, "Look, we planted this when you said in this area here. Now I'm asking to go to LA, plant trees over there." And that's how we are good stewards of Mother Earth, man, because we, in many cases, and you just said it, we really abuse her. And so we take, and now you say there's like an advent of finally, now we're getting into being very, very mindful of, hey man, we gotta leave some good stuff for our youngsters.
And minimize. I just think I'm not. I don't think I did a rant a few months ago. It was a rant, and I was like the white coat syndrome, that we think that the doctors, which was a marketing. In 1940, a marketing company came up with the white coats for the doctors to give them that authority, and then of course we sucked right into it. It's the best marketing things ever done, besides DIETCOKE. I mean, I feel like that was one of masterful marketing, but I don't like it. I'm sad that they did, but this rant about this white coat syndrome, where we think that they know everything, but what is not necessarily known publicly is that no university that could get grants or funding if they taught anything holistically. And this was back in the early 1900s.
Great
so
point.
there is no nutrition taught, and they get one semester or one class, I believe, of something about
Absolutely.
nutrition.
One class.
And they don't have any foundational, core values of
Nutrition.
the body. And to me, the logic thing is, if God can make it, He can heal it. And I believe that if we've got that immune system that sadly we've been washing the good germs away with the bad germs this last several years.
Absolutely.
And our immune systems are getting worse. As a flight attendant, 34 years, I can't tell you the stuff we touched. We didn't have gloves, it's all that. And I'm the healthiest person I know in my 70s, right? So I know Mindset House, and I'm a mindset coach, right? I can help with
Absolutely.
that. I have a Courageous
good.
Clarity coaching program, and
Yes.
I will be talking with you about something that I've come across. I've been with an amazing company for 16 years, just got bought out by another amazing company that's been around 20 years, but they just came to the United States. And and it's about testing for your omega oils and omega.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
very
Anything-
intriguing.
Yes. And back real quick to the doctors, like I say, I have even surgeons in my family. Actually, in the back of my book on the credits, Dr. Miombed, Steve Miombed, he says that George has proved us all wrong, because they all thought that I was going to go by not doing the traditional stuff. But you see, these doctors, oncologists, or any doctor, they only get, like you said, 1 hour of nutrition, but they're not psychologists, they're not massage therapists or acupuncturists, they're not nutritionists. So, thank God for now functional medicine, but there's an agenda stopping that. And that's really sad, because my last thing that I want to share is that 33%, I was asked for my talk in Las Vegas to bring the state of health of the U.S. 33% of adults in the U.S. are obese. If we keep going with this trend, by 2030, nearly 50% of adults will be obese in the United States. You know how much disease is beneath that? I mean, coming to the cost of that, the cost of productivity and the workforce. Not only that, 1 or 2 men will have cancer in their lifetime. 1 or 3 women will have cancer in their lifetime. And right now, today, back in February, almost 48% of U.S. adults have 1 or 2 chronic diseases today. So what do we do? I mean, we're not a healthy nation.
No, and you bringing that up fits right into these products I'm talking about. This company has been around 20 years, and they have they want to be the number 1 test-based nutrition company in the world, and that means you test, don't guess. So you take a little blood test, and in the very beginning, 99% of the people tested in America have been out of balance of their inflammation and the omega-6 is inflammatory. We all have tons of that because it's in all the food. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. Safe zone is 3 to 1.
Exactly.
99% of the American people are in the danger zone, basically. But my friend was 55 to 1. 55 to 1. And then you get the test, and you take one little shot of oil every single day, and 4 months later, they send you another test for free. And every 4 months, you get another test for free to make sure you're staying in the safe zone. She went in 4 months from one little shot of good tasting oil, to 55 to 1 till 6.5 to 1 in 4 months. And
Yeah.
the results are phenomenal because most of our supplements are not produced well. They're ineffective. And so
Very
they have
ineffective.
found a way, and I've never seen anything that's easier
Yeah.
and to really get your body back into the balance of that inflammation you've got it in your notes here. Your inflammation causes almost
All this is,
everything.
actually, this guy, and he proved this, is no exceptions. All chronic disease started in an inflamed body. And that's who everybody's walking with, an inflamed body. The fast food
So we
eating.
got a quick fix for that now,
Yeah,
and we can
cool.
test it, test-based nutrition, a test-based, and the stories from arthritis, from all the, I don't like to even say the words. And by the way, when you talked about I have said for years, if we would take the C word out of our vocabulary and quit claiming it all the time, I
Right,
do
right.
believe we would have a lot less of it. So
Oh, yeah.
that's, yeah. So I believe these are things that I've been saying for so long that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so great to hear, you advocating as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we could have 3 shows. I mean,
Yeah,
more
we could.
knowledge
And then
mind-
this
Yeah.
hour has gone fast because it
Yes.
has already top of the hour. And so I'm so incredibly grateful for your time today, your
I appreciate it.
commitment to humanity, the forgiveness key. We didn't really go deep on that, but I believe that's hugely important. And I've got two, my tiny book. This little tiny book has a little forgiveness called Candy Bar Hugs. It doesn't take much to make a difference, but it's huge messages in there. But one of them
Give me,
is
is it an Amazon?
yes, it's
Okay.
if you're a guy, just put it in the bathroom. It's a 25-minute read. It's 25 minutes on Audible. So
Yes.
said my
Yeah,
joke.
no, nice.
But I have something I say in there, and if you listen to me a lot, you hear all my stuff. Because I'm so passionate about it. But I wrote a little forgiveness release actually to my kids, and it's like I did what I did. I didn't do what I didn't do. I did all that I knew to do with what I knew at the time,
Beautiful.
just like you did and are doing in your life right now. I love you, and just relax, release, let go.
Beautiful.
And that was at first it was going to do the Ho'oponopono, which I love, but I actually at the time I was writing that, I didn't want to ask them anything because Ho'oponopono is I love you, please forgive
Please
me,
forgive me. Thank you.
thank you,
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Please, yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, and please forgive me, and
Thank you. I love
thank
you.
you.
Yes.
And I didn't want it to, I wanted it to just be me giving. So
Yes.
in that moment.
I have to real quick share a quote by a fellow natural cancer survivor. His name is Chris Ward, and I quote him in my book, and he says, "Cancer is a divine touch in the shoulder." He's a person of faith, but he said, "Cancer is a divine touch in the shoulder. It is an interruption in your life, and that message, a divine message in your shoulder, is take care of yourself, change your ways because you're killing yourself. We create the stuff on us, and nobody, I mean, there's an agenda for us not to even realize that. And I do not believe there will be, from the pharma world, a cure for cancer. Cancer is from the inside out. But they had everybody, even medical school is dictated, the curriculum is dictated by pharma. So this is really tough. It's just creating awareness that there's other alternatives out there. And that's really my mission and passion. I say that when I look back on my survival experience, I see it as a blessing because God gave me the chance to sing the song I was born to sing, which is helping people live their best lives. Yeah.
Amazing. This is so beautiful, and I do believe it's a wake-up call. Sometimes he makes you lie down in green pastures, right? So thank you so much, George.
Thank you.
Georges, and we'll be in touch, of course. And I'm so
Sure.
grateful for your time. This is the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll just shut her down. And I was like, always, always, always choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show, encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, remember always, choose joy.